In this video, I will reveal the #1 secret of how the inflammation builds up in our cells, something that is not discussed by now, so stay tuned. And here is the secret. The solubility of oxygen in the environment. If you do the ice bathing in the morning after you woke up, you reduce the effectiveness of the ice bathing. In this video, I will reveal the #1 secret of how the inflammation builds up in our cells, something that is not discussed by now, so stay tuned. And here is the secret. The solubility of oxygen in the environment, especially in warm environment, is 24 times less than the solubility of CO2. And when CO2 dissolves in the environment, it drops down the pH. It creates acidic environment. Human body function on the food, which is the source of nutrients and also energy. When nutrients enter our cells, two completely opposite processes happen. If there is enough oxygen inside our cells, plus extremely critical to remember, the timing till our body needs the energy is sufficient, the processing of the nutrients will go with aerobic processing, so using the oxygen. Aerobic processing happens inside mitochondria, energy centers in our cells. If the processing of the nutrients happen inside mitochondria, as a result from one molecule of glucose, we will have as byproducts water, CO2, and up to 32 molecules of energy. This processing is called the Krebs cycle. It takes several hours to process the nutrients. That's why if we are short with the need to have enough energy, our body will not enter the Krebs cycle. Mitochondria will not participate in processing the nutrients. Processing of the nutrients will happen inside cytoplasm. As byproduct, we will have lactic acid, which will drop the pH and create the acidic environment. Okay, let's sum it up and add some extra details to make the picture complete. After we digested the food in our intestine, the nutrients go to our cells. Let's say the cells received one molecule of glucose. That one molecule of glucose will break down into 2 molecules of pyruvate. The cell will harvest 2 molecules of energy, and it will happen inside the cytoplasm. This never differs. It's always the same. What differs is the second step. If there is enough oxygen, the pyruvate will process inside mitochondria, which are the energy centers, and they are activated only in presence of oxygen. And if there is enough timing till our body needs the energy, then the processing of 2 molecules of pyruvate will happen inside mitochondria. As a result, we will have water, CO2, and we will harvest 32 molecules of energy from one molecule of glucose. This process is called the Krebs cycle, and it takes several hours. That's why when we are short with the time, when our body needs the energy, the cells will not enter the Krebs cycle because it takes several hours and our body needs the energy right away. In that case, our cells will process 2 molecules of pyruvate inside cytoplasm without using the oxygen, so it will be anaerobic processing. As a result of anaerobic processing of 2 molecules of pyruvate, our cells will produce lactic acid, and lactic acid will drop the pH and cause the acidification of the environment. The same will happen if we don't have enough oxygen. So both, if we don't have enough oxygen, or if the timing till our body needs the energy is short, because anaerobic processing of 2 molecules of pyruvate will take several minutes. That's why the body enters right away into anaerobic processing of glucose. And here comes the piece of the information which will blow your mind away. The intensive workout and the heavy lifting pushes our cells to enter anaerobic processing of the nutrients, because our body needs the energy right away. We don't have several hours to process the food with oxygen and to create the energy. Our body needs the energy right now, so it creates some energy at least. That's why after the workout you have the sore muscles, the fatigue, because your body created lactic acid. And are you ready for the last piece of the information? If you do the ice bathing in the morning after you woke up, you reduce the effectiveness of the ice bathing. If you want to maximize the effect of the ice bathing, you need to do it after the intensive workout. And here we did the cycle and came back to the top secret number 1 of how the inflammation builds up in our cells. And it is that the CO2 has the solubility to be 24 times higher than the solubility of oxygen, especially in the warm environment. So when we work out and we increase the temperature of our body, we increase also the solubility of CO2 together with the lactic acid, which was produced during the workout. That's why if you go for the ice bathing right after the intensive workout, you help your body, because the solubility of CO2 in cold environment is less than in warm environment. This is the easiest way to explain what happens inside our cells and how the inflammation builds up in our body. And everything comes from the top number 1 secret, which was designed by nature. It is not man-made. The solubility of oxygen is 24 times less, especially in warm environment, than the solubility of CO2. So what to do now? And the best recommendation is to extend the gap between the meals, because when we give the time to our cells to process the food that we already ate, we give them the time to enter aerobic processing of the nutrients. And then we will have the byproducts as a water, CO2, and enough energy. While if we keep giving the food to ourselves by snacking, like 1 cracker, 1 waffle, or anything, it doesn't matter, you still give the nutrients to your cells. They have no time to recover enough oxygen to enter the aerobic processing, plus they need to process the food, which keeps coming over and over and over again. That's why they start to accumulate, either to convert it into the fat to store the extra nutrients, or they enter the anaerobic processing of the food, which starts to create the acidic environment in your body. And that's how the inflammation builds up. So simply by removing the snacking here, there, all the time, when you keep giving the food to your cells, you give them the time to also breathe. And that's the reason that I developed the innovative breathing technique, because it helps enrich your body with the oxygen. But how? Now I will try to show you what happens when we have the gases inside our body, in the liquid of our body, and we are inactive, immobile. And when we are active, when we are moving, imagine this is your body. 70% is liquid. We have the gases which are dissolved in our body all the time, and we are immobile. So when we inhale and exhale without moving a lot, this is what happens. Now, this is again your body. 70% is water, liquid, and we inhale and exhale, and we have the gases dissolve all the time. But now we are moving. Imagine. You see what's happening with the gases inside? And now, when you exhale, did you see the difference? So that's what happens when we are immobile. We have the gases which stay dissolved in our body. And because the solubility of CO2 is 24 times more than the solubility of oxygen, we create the perfect environment where acidity, it becomes like our natural environment. So we drop the pH of our body by simply being immobile. While when we move, we help the CO2 and all the gases turn into the gas phase. And when we exhale more CO2. When we move, when we go for the workout, whatever you do, just move, because you create the flow of the liquid. And when the liquid is not stagnant, because when the liquid is stagnant, it's inactive, it helps also the gases to stay dissolved in the liquid. But when you start to move, the gases turn into the gas phase, and it's easier to remove. And when you exhale, you remove more CO2 because it doesn't stay dissolved in your body. That's the main purpose that every person has to go for the exercises, workout, whatever helps you, doesn't matter. You need to create the flow inside your body. And that's the base of the technique, the innovative breathing technique that I developed. Because when you inhale and when you start to push, when you direct that pressure towards the solar plexus and you move the diaphragm, you create the flow of the liquid and you help the gases to turn into the gas phase. And when you exhale more CO2, because CO2 needs to be removed, not to stay inside your body and to dissolve and drop the pH. Please remember, there is a science behind. You create the pressure inside the flow, and the pressure pushes the gases to turn into the gas phase, and they are removed easier. So you help increase the pH of your body. So please do it at least once a day, whether it's morning or the evening, for 1 minute. Or every time when you sit and you remember about it, do it. You will feel the difference within the first 1 or 2 weeks, because it will help you to remove the CO2 and it will help you enrich your body with the oxygen. And remember, if you want to increase the effectiveness of the ice bathing, try to do it after the intensive workout or the heavy lifting, because that's when you have the high percentage of the acids to remove more CO2 from your body, and also to help to increase the pH. If you go for the ice bath after the intensive workout, that's when you will maximize the effect of the ice bathing. Stay healthy, follow me for more. If you didn't subscribe to my YouTube channel, do it now. Smash that button, because I will be sharing more and more videos and help you to stay not only healthy but also know the mechanism behind why what you do affects your body in particular way, and how to avoid it to stay not only healthy but to age healthy, which is the top number one priority, I believe, for every person, to be able to live as long as healthy as we only can. Stay tuned, follow me for more.